Hello, police. Police officer, make yourself known. Hello, police. No one now. Where it goes? Thank you, dude. That's it. There's a freezer here that I want to get into. It's locked, but yeah.
Aye, testing. Okay folks, welcome back to Glesga News. Right, the video you just saw there was the Metropolitan Police visiting a flat. And the background basically is that the guy that occupied that flat, that degenerate there, and that's a picture in the Daily Record, was a convicted sex offender, and he had a habit of taking advantage of vulnerable women, homeless or no money, you know, no working, whatever. And this is what happened to these two unfortunate souls. Now this is quite a complex, I'm on the Metropolitan site here, so this is quite a complex explanation, so just bear with me, because you know at the end of it there is some dedications included in this, and the police have included this in their site from their families, and it's a shame, you know. That's them there, Jan Mustafa on the left there, and on the right, and her name is Henrietta. Okay, so the story basically is a man who killed two women and hid their bodies in a chest freezer has just been found guilty of murder and jailed for a minimum of 38 years. Zahid Yunus, 36, of Vadcombe Close, was convicted at Southwark Crown Court on Thursday, 3rd of September, of murdering Mihran Jan Mustafa, she was 38, and Henry Ashooks, she was 34. Their bodies were found in a freezer at Yunus's home in Canning Tower on Saturday, 27th of April 2019. Horrific. Right, the police that went in there opened that freezer. Yunus has previously pleaded guilty to 2 counts of preventing a lawful burial. He was sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum of 38 years. Detective Chief Inspector Simon Harding, Specialist Crime, said, "This has undoubtedly been a complex case. The conditions in which both women were found were extremely challenging, and I commend the extraordinary work of the forensic experts who helped us piece together the injuries they suffered and retrieve as much evidence as possible. I also have the highest praise for the officers who went to the flat that day. It was good old-fashioned police hunch that made them force open the freezer, intuition that something just wasn't right. I pay tribute to the victims' families for their bravery. It must seem incomprehensible that their loved ones had lost their lives and then been found in such awful circumstances." Yunus, the degenerate ratbag, is a violent, manipulative man with a history of abusing and controlling vulnerable women, often with transient and chaotic lifestyles, like Mihran and Henriette. However they lived their lives, these women had families, friends, people who cared about them, and they died in a truly awful manner. His actions are repugnant to us all. He lied through the trial, fabricating a story about how others had been responsible for both deaths, something he only came up with once he had heard the prosecution case against him. I'm thankful the jury carefully considered the weight of evidence against him and have convicted him today. Police had attended the flat on Friday, the 26th of April 2019, after a friend of his reported he was missing and said that she was concerned for his welfare. There was no answer, and officers returned the following day. They forced entry and searched the address. In a small cupboard containing a gas and electricity meter was also a small chest freezer. It was locked with items stacked on top and flies gathering around it. An officer forced it open with a crowbar and saw a large frozen shape and a foot in a grey Superman sock. It was the remains of Mihran, clothed and wrapped in plastic, and a bedsheet. She was subsequently identified by a distinctive tattoo on her wrist, and later through familial DNA, that's DNA from her family. A murder investigation was launched. Examination of the remains was extremely complex due to the condition in which they were found. The chest was removed from the scene and taken to Walthamstow mortuary, where it was x-rayed. This revealed the body of another woman, Henriette, beneath Mihran. She was wearing pyjamas and wrapped in a sleeping bag and then plastic, which was later established to be the packing the freezer came in. The condition of the bodies, obviously he just went and bought the freezer after that murder, hadn't he? The condition of the bodies meant full examination was difficult, but each of the women has sustained multiple injuries. Henriette had head injuries, and Mihran's sternum and larynx were fractured. Both women had numerous rib fractures. Full causes of death could not be ascertained. Henriette had not been seen for nearly 3 years, while Mihran had been reported missing almost a year before. Both had been associated with Eunice in the time leading up to their disappearance. Both Henriette and Mihran were vulnerable women living chaotic lifestyles with periods of homelessness and drug addiction. Henriette was a Hungarian national who came to the UK in 2012 and again in 2014. She had a number of abusive partners and suffered some mental ill health. She met the degenerate Yusuf in January 2016 and moved in with him in March 2016. They were seen together in the local area, often arguing. Some notes later found suggested Eunice was violent and controlling towards her. She wrote she wasn't allowed in the kitchen anymore and needed to show him respect. The last sighting of her was on the 29th of August 2016, but it is thought she died close to 11th of November 2016 when he bought the freezer. The prosecution said the sole purpose of disposing her body, that's why the freezer. He paid £169 in curries that afternoon. Mihran was last seen alive, this is the other girl, in May 2018 and reported missing by her sister on 10th of May. She had previously been seen with Eunice in the local area and leaving his flat, and phone evidence showed they had been in contact. Police searches of Eunice's address found property belonging to both women. A fingerprint from Michelle was found in the kitchen and blood from Henriette on the bedroom carpet, as well as a section of carpet that fitted the living room and hall stored in a shed. And now we're going to get to why things sort of escalated and why there was a smell. Eunice had been in prison between September and November 2018 and his electricity supply disconnected, contributing to the decomposition of the bodies in the freezer and causing a foul smell. An electricity engineer attended on the 11th of April to clear the debt on the meter, April 2019, to clear the debt on the meter, and Eunice came to the door holding a can of air freshener. The engineer noticed the bad smell. Eunice sprayed the air freshener before he let him look at the meters, which was next to the chest freezer. Shortly afterwards, Eunice abandoned the property and made off. Following extensive inquiries, he was arrested on the 3rd of April 2019, getting into a taxi. He told officers, "It's my house, it's my problem, no one else is involved." He was initially charged with 2 counts of preventing the lawful and decent burial of a dead body, and in February 2020 with murder. A bloody shame, eh? Now, this is the part here it's a wee bit sad. This is the girl Mihran, or Jan as she was known, and I think this is her sister that's writing it. Jan's death has changed our family forever. From the moment we found out that she was missing We spent every moment of every hour looking for her, and we never for 1 minute gave up. When Jan didn't come home to her daughter's birthday, she wrote to Mummy, "Please come back. I really miss you. You missed my 11th birthday. It was the worst party ever. I sat in the corner, crying my eyes out, looking at your pictures and reading your poems, while in my head screaming, 'Where are you? Please, Mum, come back.' Deep down I knew something wasn't right, because you would never leave your children. They were your world." The call from the police will never be forgotten. Hearing them words, confirming they found my Jan, was never real. I still don't believe it. The moment we told my auntie and Jan's children, with an ambulance on standby, breaks every part of me, seeing the pain and tears in their eyes. She was a gentle being who still had her whole life ahead of her to live and watch her children grow. My heart deeply goes out to her children, who are the strongest people that I know. The grief that they are going through compares to no other pain. Our family has lost a precious jewel. My Aunt Mary Jane Mustafa was an incredible aunt, mother, sister, daughter to her family. Jan was a fantastic mother. She adored her children. She loved to dance. She was artistic. She was creative. She was beautiful. She was friends with everybody and very funny. She celebrated life. She was optimistic. She never said anything bad about anybody. She would give her last penny to someone in need. She was an angel. She is an angel. And so finally she says, "Sister, my angel, God has given you your assignment. Always my sister, forever my angel. You fly into my dreams when I'm asleep. I feel your wings brush against my face, wiping away the tears I shed, since I can no longer hold you in my arms, but only in my heart. The trial is over. Justice has been done. Closure, they say. Never. It will not bring back my Jan. I love you, my Tilly, and I know you are with me." It's horrible, isn't it? And the second statement was written following the Henriette's mother being told, her name's Maria. Maria, Henriette's mother, has been hugely overwhelmed by the death of her daughter, not only because she was murdered, but because it happened in another country, a country where she doesn't know the law or know the police investigation and court processes. Maria lost touch with Henriette when she came to UK, but that only exacerbates her grief. The fact that Henriette lay deceased in a freezer for 2.5 years with no one looking for her or realising she was missing torments her mother on a daily basis. The inner turmoil she suffers is as you would expect for a mother mourning the death of her child, and to make matters worse, she hasn't been able to see her or lay her to rest. This is most unimaginable for any family member, but particularly a mother. So, if you're still with me on this video, I'll just take a wee kind of look at the lassies there. The chaos that degenerate. When he was sentenced today, he didn't even come up for the cell. He refused to come up to the cell because he knew he was going down. But, jail time will be easy for a degenerate like that. A loser, a complete loser. I would hope that maybe I don't know if he was an asylum seeker. With our luck, he's probably a UK resident. He's probably born here. It's a shame because at the end of his 38 years, if he was granted asylum or anything like that, I think what should happen is they should put him in a plane and throw him out it. Give him a parachute. But what I suggest would be, throw him out the aeroplane over Sudan and put a Saudi Arabian officer's jacket on him and see how he gets on. No phone, no money. See how he gets on, because they'll chop him up. Anyway, folks, if you like the content, hit the like button, share and subscribe, because that's all I've got to say about that. Peace out.